Welcome to the interview room. Muzzy checking in, the time's here. How you all doing? All right, let's begin. Let's have a chat about the fact that I want to interview the best fighters in the world, and that's that. Had a lot of guests from everywhere, all across the globe. Fighters tell me about the journey.
How are you, boys and girls? Mudzy here from Muay Thai Interviews again, and my next guest he hails from Brisbane, Australia. He has won multiple titles and belts. He runs his own gym where he also happens to be the head trainer at the Fight Centre, and he is currently over in Phuket training at AKA Gym in Thailand under the head trainer Lam Songkram for his upcoming WBC heavyweight world title fight on Destiny Muay Thai Promotions on Saturday, October the 27th at the Mansfield Tavern in Queensland. I'm joined by Ben the Blade Johnston. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. How are you?
Good, brother. So how's it all going over in AKA at the moment?
Yeah, it's good, man. Just the fact that I've got no distractions and all I need to do is rock up to training and know that the work's going to get done. It's really good. You'd think it'd be stressful having that much training to do, but it's actually the opposite because there's only one task that I have to complete. So no, it's been real great.
I think that's a reason why a lot of people go over to Thailand is because you don't have the distractions of your 9-to-5 job. Got to go do your training or your running before, and then you've got your training in the afternoon and the evening, and then you've got your day-to-day activities and everything else, just like life just going on in general. You don't have to worry about all that. So how long are you there for? And I've got to ask, what's it like training under Lam? Because watching him back in the days, he was a relentless fighter, so I'm guessing his training methods are probably the same.
Yeah, well, the Lamb's a hard bastard. There's no doubt about it. I actually, though, to be honest, I use him more for the technical side of things. I'll get my general endurance and fitness and all that sort of stuff just from showing up to the classes. And then, like Lamb's holding pads all day, every day for people and that sort of thing. So it's probably quite tiring on his body. And me being a bigger guy, it probably knocks him around a bit if I'm holding pads, smashing pads 2 times a day for an hour with him. But that's not what I want anyway. I just want the technique. I want to pick his brain rather than just have him smash me for fitness because I can get that fucking anywhere,
Yep.
So he is hard. He will put the pressure on and push the pace, but at the same time, he doesn't need to do that for me because that's not what I need from him, So yeah, I'm just trying to pick his brain and get as much much of the technical aspects of it from him as I can, really. So
how long are you at AKA for?
I booked him for 2 weeks. Basically, my time over here was just a pre-training to start my 8-week camp for my fight back home. So once I leave here after this week, so I've already done a week here, I've got 1 more week to go. Once I leave here at the end of this week, that's the very beginning of 8 weeks before my fight for the WBC world title. So, but I am considering staying for a little bit longer. I guess I'm just putting off all the other distractions that I'll have at home. But in saying that, life goes on. You can't just stop everything, If I go home, I'll make it work. I always do. So.
Thailand and training Muay Thai tends to have that effect on a lot of people. You book for a certain amount of time and you get there and you're like, oh, you know what? I might just stay for another week or 2 weeks. If you can do it, why not, man? That's
it, eh? That's it. Well, everything seems to be running okay. Like from what I tell my fighters are looking after themselves, and I got the fighters class back home set up where I could basically I'm guiding them. You know what I mean? I'm not holding pads for every fighter. I'm basically just making sure they're doing the work and just cracking the whip every now and then. But overall, it's not absolutely imperative that I'm there all the time. There is some fighters when they got fights coming up that I do. I don't like missing the guys in the corner. I always like to be there for when they're fighting, and I always like to be in their corner and give them the right advice on the night.
Yeah.
And I do like to sort of structure the game plan leading up. But yeah, so I've got Corey Nicholson fighting in about 2 weeks, and I don't want to miss that. So I definitely have to come home before then.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? What I wanted to say is, like, speaking of Lamb, did you ever watch back in, I think it was maybe 2014 or 2015, when he used to be at Tiger, and they have like MMA tryouts, and like when it come to the Muay Thai bit, him and all the pad holders absolutely bashed these MMA guys. I don't know, it was because they didn't like him or what, but like he was elbowing him in the head, like they were on the floor, and he'd like knee him in the head, and he was just like did not give two shits about.
Yeah. I did see that. Yeah, I do remember. And see, the funny thing was, I didn't know who Lamb was or anything like that until I was coming over here, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Phuket. I might be going to AKA. I sort of wasn't married to the idea of going to any gym until every second person I spoke to was like, oh, Lamb, go see Lamb, go to AKA, go see Lamb, you know. And then I sort of, I'm like, I thought he was a Tiger, because they started saying, oh, he's the big Thai and he's got the long hair and whatever. Yeah. Like, oh, I remember, exactly that video you were talking about where he was just giving dudes a hiding, you know, like this MMA team, they had their trials or whatever, and he's just giving people an absolute hiding. You know, luckily for me, he's not doing that to me. You know, yeah, I don't know whether, yeah, I guess there's just a bit more of a level of respect there. You know, he knows what I got coming up. He knows who I am. In a way, like he didn't before I came, but now he's sort of aware, and yeah, no, we get on okay. So he's not elbowing me in the fucking head every chance he gets.
I used to watch like some of his old highlights, man, and like he literally like just used to sort of like what John Wayne Parr does and Toby does, just wear people down, and they'd be gassed, and they would be backing up, and he would just chase them around the ring until they just literally just gave up, until
absolutely
he just elbowed them into oblivion.
Yeah, fitness goes a long way, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, man. Ugh, I'm still sore from yesterday. I didn't even do that much.
Yeah, well, fuck, man. It's always look, because you only just come back to training, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's always that shock, in the beginning. You know, you think you're training, you think you're doing enough, and then you come to Thailand, it's a different fucking story, different ball game.
Mate, especially like because all I can do like when I'm working is run and maybe do some skipping or push-ups or something like that. But yeah, I've been a little bitch anyway because it's cold back in Australia. I sort of haven't really done anything in the winter.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I've got to ask you, how did you find Muay Thai, and what made you decide to give it a go? Because it seems to be a good decision, looking back on it and sitting on all your achievements and everything that you've accomplished so far.
Yeah, basically, like my dad's family were all boxers, and I just always had a strong interest in boxing more than anything. Muay Thai never really, I guess there was guys at school who used to talk about it, and in my head, boxing was the thing, and boxing was the way to go. And then one of my best mates said, "Oh, I'm going to go check out a Muay Thai gym," and I said, "Oh, I didn't mind if I come along." And yeah, that was pretty much it. I went in there with him and another mate, and the other one happens to be the guy who owns the fight centre with me now, James Jarvie. That was pretty much the first night I met him. Was the first night I went to Muay Thai, and then that was it. I didn't want to play footy anymore. I just wanted to kickbox. So
you'd already had boxing experience before you stepped into a Muay Thai gym?
Man, I wouldn't say boxing experience. It was more Dad had shown me enough to make me think that I had boxing experience, if that makes sense, you know? Yeah. Confidence can go a long way when you're a kid. And it wasn't that I wasn't confident, but he did show me enough to, to make me not afraid, you know.
And I've got to ask you, so far to date, what has been your most proudest achievement and why?
I guess just my proudest moment, not necessarily achievement moment, maybe the one and the same, I don't know. But was, I had a fight in New Zealand for an amateur world title against T.Y. Williams, and it's just a really hard fight. You know, I lost the fight, but the value I got out of it because you never know how tough you are or how strong you are or what you're capable of until you've actually been through it. You know, like unless you've experienced and unless you know your limits, you can sort of go, oh well, I would do this, I would do that, but unless you unless you put yourself through it, you don't actually know. So going through that, that's probably what I hold closest. That's probably the thing that I've gained most, or my most valuable experience out of the whole thing. Because like I said, a lot of my fights I do stop guys pretty early on. Like a lot of them are early knockouts, first round, second round. But that one there, it was a 7-rounder, being an amateur K1 world title, and from round 1 my leg was fucked. I think it was an existing injury going in. So, just having that and being able to push through that, I take a lot away from that, and I still remember that before every fight. It gives me the confidence. So,
I'm glad I asked you that question, because I was thinking you're going to tell me one of your belts, because I've seen the photo of you posted there where you've got like bloody 9 belts hanging off you.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, they're all nice. Belts are nice, and at the end of the day, it's all a build up to what I'm about to fight for, which is the WBC world title, and I guess the last belt I win is always my favourite, but it doesn't. All they are is a stepping stone to get me to where I'm about to be. You know what I mean? So.
And I do have one question to ask you. I listened to a podcast you did the other month, and you talked about when you had your first loss against Steve Behan. The first time you fought each other twice. The first time you beat him quite comprehensively, and then the second time he was well prepared for you, and then he beat you quite convincingly. And understandably, you were not happy with yourself or your performance. In your opinion, how important is it for a fighter to experience a loss in their career so that they can grow from that? Because I did hear you talk about that.
Yeah, well, I do think it is important. Look, if you can achieve that in other ways where you don't have to have it in the ring, then that's probably more ideal. But at the end of the day, it's never as important as when it is in the ring. So that might be a hard one as well. Hard to replicate that in sparring or something like that. Because obviously you spar and you shake it off because it's just a spar, and you know that it's not, you're not fucking fighting for sheep stations. But if you have, like I was just saying to one of my guys the other night, because he had a hard loss not long ago on Battle by the Bay. So if he's listening, I hope he does listen to this. But he had a hard loss, one that pulled him up early, and sometimes you need that in order to know what you don't want to do. And sometimes I think it's more important to be motivated by what you don't want to happen than what you want to happen. For me personally anyway, I'm more motivated by regret or not regretting than I am by achievement. I don't want to be old and wondering. I don't want to wish that I did something and not have and never actually have done it. I'm more motivated by that than being like, look at me, I'm the world champion and I got it, Yeah. It's not about that. It's not really about saying I'm the world champion. It's about, in a few years when that opportunity has slipped by me and I could have had it and I didn't take it. That's what motivates me. So I know I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but
no, that's fine.
For me, that fight there, I went on a massive tangent. But for that fight there, the reason why that was so important is that made me realise what I didn't want to happen to me ever again. You know what I mean? I didn't want to never not do my best ever again in the ring. And when that there's nothing that will make you feel like less of a man. And I guess it's the same for women. I can't speak. Nothing will make you feel less of a man than giving up. So you'll question everything about yourself. You'll question who you are and what you stand for, and everything you believe that you are or what you represent. That comes into question when you don't live up to your own expectations. But when you don't live up to your expectations, it gives you the chance to see how fucking shitty that really makes you feel, so that next time you can step up and you have the opportunity to make up for that and really go 100% the opposite direction.
And I think, and also from your point of view as a trainer, I saw a post, another guy who I really enjoy watching fight. I'm not sure if he's your actual fighter, but I think you were his cornerman, Rob Ferguson. He put up a post where you actually ended up throwing in the towel for him. I don't think he ever wanted to quit, and watching his fights, he never looks like he does. But he ended up having like a I think fractured eye socket or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
How important do you think, also from a trainer or coach, whatever people want to call it, perspective, is it to have that as well, like where you know that your fighters want to continue, but there's that point where it's like, save it for another day, man, save it for another day?
My coach said it to me once, and I never forget it. He said the fighter should always be ready, but the trainer should always know better. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the mentality you have to have, is go, I'm good, and you know, for my fighters, I expect them to always say, I'm good, I'm ready to go. And then it's up to me to make the decision of, no, you're not, you know? So with Rob, he, you know, came in, he was, look, you know, Rob's fitness was starting to waver. Obviously, he hasn't trained much. With true classic Rob Ferguson style, he didn't train a whole lot. But yeah, his fitness was starting to go in the third round, and he's wearing a lot of shots to his eye that he wasn't doing a lot about. And there was Paul Demacoli was in the corner and said, fuck, I don't think he can see. So when Rob came back to the corner, I give him the towel, he blows his nose. I go, can you see? And as he blew his nose, his eye just went and just blew right up, you know. He looks at me and goes, yeah, you know, he's got one eye just like completely shut. He goes, yeah, I can see. I said, no, fuck no, you can't, you know. And then the ref come over and I said, it's done, you know. And the ref's gone, and Rob's gone, no, I'm ready to go, I'm good to go, you know. And he's sort of blowing up because he wants to go back out, because Rob gets his power from that. I'll fight. I don't give a fuck. I'll fight, you know. And there is something powerful about that, of just uncompromising in admitting defeat. You know, if there's another round, Rob will go out for another round no matter what you've done to him. He'll always show up. Now, could he do it a whole lot better and a whole lot easier by training? 100%. But, you know, but that's a huge thing, and some people don't have that, you know. And if I had what Rob has as much as he does, and with my training to give me the fitness, you know, I would have been champion of the world 5 years ago, you know. But yeah, you know, like, so yeah, you do want your fighters to always be ready and be willing, but as a trainer, you got to make that decision for them. So
I've got to say, like, yeah, Rob, I think, like, if you are listening, Rob, and you want to interview, mate, let me know. I'm more than happy, because I think you'd have a few good stories for me. But just on that note, I think he has, like, what some people have. Some fighters, you either have it or you don't. Like, some people, you get hit, or they get hit, and they're like, oh fuck, no, they cower away, or they get hit and it hurts them, but they go, fuck this, and it makes them even more angrier. And I think I've seen him cheer. I've seen it in the ring, not last fight, the fight before. This guy who was a fucking rig. The guy was like 20 kilos heavier than Rob, and he held it. He held it well. Whether he might have had a bit of fat on there, but he wasn't sloppy, you know. Yeah.
And he hit Rob with the big shot, and Rob literally like, whoa, you know, like just cheered himself on and just attacked back at it, you know. Again, minimal training, but still fourth round and swinging for the fucking fences, you know.
I think the best I've ever seen him, and like his shape and condition, was when he fought on CMT. I think maybe at like 86 kilos, and he fought a dude, and the dude did like a spinning heel kick and cracked him straight in the sternum in round one.
Oh, it was Nick Atkins. He fought Nick Atkins.
Yeah, he cracked him, and he went down like a sack of potatoes, and he got back up, and then I think he ended up knocking him out, or dropped him like twice in the third round, and then knocked him out. And I was just like, fuck me, man. Like,
mate, he's a rig.
Most people would have just written him off after. I watched that, man, and seeing that kick connect to that sternum, you could feel it, and you could definitely see it, but...
Oh man, he doesn't take a backward step. And like I said, you have to knock him out or fucking do something amazing to him to make him not want to get up and keep coming. Like, he has to be physically incapable, because mentally he's always capable. You know what I mean? Which is huge. I just wish he'd train.
If he spent as much time in the gym as he did at the pub, he'd be a superstar.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, mate. I don't think he's as bad as he once was, but it would be nice to have him in the gym a bit more. He's a fucking fantastic bloke and great to have around. So
nice one, mate. And so far, who's been your toughest opponent and why?
I guess I don't know. There's been a few tough ones, eh? But I guess Steve Behan would be up there. Yeah, I've had a few, but I think the first one that comes to mind is Steve Behan, because the first fight that we had, I knocked him down, must have been 8 times, like literally 8 times. And he kept getting up and scraped himself off the canvas, come back forward, and then the next fight that we had, his first round, I kneed him in the face, and his nose was like sideways. It was, and he just blew his nose and just kept on coming, and ended up beating him. But he watched the first round, and it's probably like, oh shit, it might be a hard night for Steve here, but he never took his foot off the gas, eh? So, Steve Behan, it's not like he's well and truly head and shoulders above, some other guys like T.Y. Williams. T.Y., he's a Kiwi, he walks around at like 82, but he'll fight guys at 90. He doesn't care. Very, very tough dude. Like, he should be a super middleweight. He could even be middleweight if he really wanted to cut weight. He could get down at fucking 72. But he says to himself, I want to fight the real McCoy, so whatever. So he's 82, fighting guys that are 90 like it's nothing.
Speaking of cutting weight, because light heavyweight, that's I want to say 79 kilos, is it? Light
heavyweight 79.3 kilos. That's right.
So, because you're quite a tall guy, what do you normally walk around at? Do you have to ever cut much weight?
Man, I am cutting a little bit more than I want to be, but at the end of the day, I've got a ranking at 79 kilos and not the next weight division up to 86 kilos. So if I'm like really fit, and say I plan to be walking around at about 86 kilos, sort of leading into the fight three weeks out or so, and then it'll be a planned sort of slow cut from there. At the moment, I'm more like 88, 89, and I would like to be a little bit lighter and a little bit closer to the 79 kilos. But at the end of the day, I'm not about to change weight division. I've just got to cut weight one more time to 79. And if it's hard, like if it's too hard, then I'll have to go up next time. You know what I mean? Next fight, book it in at 86. But if it's easy, then fuck, I'll stay at 79 kilo.
There's got to be surely like the sanctioning bodies or whoever's responsible for the weight divisions. Surely they could put in at least another 1 or 2 weight divisions in between 79 and 86. That's a little bit ludicrous.
That is a big one. I don't know why it is like that for WBC, but I know WMC is they do have one, like they have a light heavyweight at 79, and then they've got another one at like 82, and then another one at 86, I believe. So I would like to see that for WBC because it's a big jump. But in saying that, man, amateur boxing, amateur is similar, but professional boxing, you've got light heavyweight 79 kilo, cruiserweight is 90 kilo, or might even be 91 kilo. So you've got, if you're 88 kilos, you either need to really cut hard or you need to bulk up in order to, be sitting comfortably at cruiserweight. So it could be worse. But yeah, whatever, man. I'm not worried about that just yet. Let me get this one out of the road, and then we'll worry about the weight afterwards and what I'm going to do after this.
Yeah, which leads me to my next question. What are your plans after your world title fight, or have you not thought that far ahead yet?
I've got a few things I'd like to do, but when I put them into place, and whether it's going to be now or later or whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like it's good to have a goal, but that, the that can change at the drop of a hat due to what comes up, and So one thing I would like to do is I would like to do some professional boxing bouts, just because I think just because I enjoy it. I think it looks nice. Like aesthetically, I love watching a really tidy boxer, and I also just out of spite in some ways, I would like to go over and fucking make a few of these boxers, these professionals, these guys who've been boxing their whole life. I would like to put the wind up them, Not that they've ever done anything to me, but just as a little bit of a fuck you of like, man. I'll just tell you a story. When I was I did an amateur boxing bout probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it was my second one. I'd won once before for the Southeast Queensland titles. This one was just a scheduled bout against another guy. I think he had like 30 or 40 fights or something like that. He's ranked quite highly in Queensland. But before the fight, there was in the crowd, because some of my mates were in the crowd, you could hear all the boxers, because he was quite well known in the amateur boxing community because he having that many fights, and they're going, oh fuck, we'll see. Somehow someone had let slip that I was a kickboxer, and I'm on my second boxing fight. I'm taking on one of the Queensland's best boxers, So someone's got out that I'm a kickboxer, and they're going, oh fuck, we'll see what this fucking kickboxer can do, and blah blah blah, And I ended up beating him quite easily. So it just for that, and I almost think that it in a way, and this is again nothing against boxing. We got a lot of guys at the gym that go and compete at the amateur boxing tournaments, and they're not kickboxers, they're just boxers. But it would be nice to be like, well, what's up, man? I'm a kickboxer. Where the boxers at? Come on, boys, this is your sport. You're supposed to be better than me at this, But nah, I don't know. That's my own little ego coming out, I guess.
Yeah, because I was going to lead into I did know that you did have plans to try and do a bit of pro boxing in the near future. So does that mean you're going to put Muay Thai on the back burner for a bit, or were you still going to try and compete in both?
Mate, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just going to play it by ear and see what happens. I do find it a little bit difficult to just bounce between the two. I can probably get away with being a boxer with my current Muay Thai stance and whatever, but I would like to give it a little bit more credit than that. You know what I mean? Instead of just going, yeah, I'll be able to get by. Do it. I'd rather do it and fucking do it properly. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll just have to see what happens. Now, that doesn't mean that if I went and did boxing, I'd never come back to do Muay Thai, and it doesn't mean that if I'm doing Muay Thai, I won't take a boxing fight. I'm just still not sure. There might be a transition period where I'll be inactive for a little while. The other thing that's a bit more enticing about the boxing is I can do that far more regularly. With the Muay Thai, my shin splits open just about every fight, which means it's like a 6-month recovery time, and my body just gets quite banged up. I hold corks for a long time. I'll deal with them during the fight. I might have a cork leg during the fight, and it's unlikely that I'll ever be finished from anything like that within the rounds. But I'll be fucked for weeks, months after the fight, and I just have to deal with it then. So with the boxing, obviously, there's that trauma to my legs won't be there. I'll just have a bit more trauma to my head.
You know what you should you're in Thailand. You know what you should take home with you? It's called Ladampon.
Yeah. Okay.
You probably heard of it, or it's a drink. You go down to the pharmacy. You pay about 35 baht. The Thai boxers take it after a day or two after their fights, and it completely flushes your system. And it's designed to it's like, I take it once every couple of months just for a good cleanse, but they say it cleans all your blood and helps with your internal bruising and that sort of thing.
I think I know that it's got like that white sort of paper label.
Yeah.
Yes. I saw it with Jonathan too, who showed me the other day.
Yeah, you go into any pharmacy, it's called Ladampon, and take a couple of bottles back, have half a bottle, and mate, I guarantee you will be on the toilet. And
I was going to say, am I going to be fucking shitting? Is that that's what it's going to make me do? Just sit on the toilet?
Yeah. You're going to take it, and within about an hour to 2 hours afterwards, you're going to you end up just be pissing through your ass, basically.
Yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Thank God for bum guns in Thailand, eh? be like a bit of sandpaper. But yeah, definitely try and take some, because that'll, I reckon, with your corks and stuff, that will might actually help a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
You
No,
get banged
I'll
up.
try anything.
But it is quite intense. I'm not going to lie to you. I just wanted to backpedal a bit, because you, like, when you're saying that now you're walking around like around 88, 89, 86 kilos.
Yeah.
And how do you cut weight? Because I've seen, like, in a few of your training videos and stuff, you sort of incorporate like modern training. Like, I've seen you with your grids and like your strength and conditioning and stuff. So I'm keen to get your opinion on how you cut weight.
I actually don't do much, like in terms of lifting weights and that sort of thing. I don't do much of that at all. I do some like footwork drills and all that sort of stuff. You know, like the training at home is very different to what I do over here. Like Thailand, it's just like, okay, go and hit the bag for 15 rounds, and then we'll do some Thai pads, and then we'll clinch, and then we'll do some sparring. You know what I mean? And it's like the same every day. Whereas I structure mine a lot more in terms of on Monday I'm going to do this footwork drill, Monday I'm going to do this, and then Tuesday I'm going to do this, and then Wednesday I'm going to be sparring, and then around my sparring I'm going to make sure I got the grappling afterwards, and you know what I mean. In terms of my weight cutting, it's just a really, really strict diet. With being over here, that is very difficult. It's just so, rice, chicken. You don't know what the fuck they're putting in that sauce when they throw it in. Like, it's delicious, but you have no idea what they're making it with.
MSG.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just so hard to control that. So my diet's gone out the window a little bit when I'm over here, but I'm training that much. You know what I mean? But when I'm at home, it's very, very monitored. And it's very strict, and I'll be weighing myself as much as I can and writing it down, and then I'll refer back to that last time of where I was leading in and how much I cut on the day and how much I cut on the week, and it's all there, just to make it easier the next time around. So I'm not going to lie, man, a lot of it is dehydrating. I do have to dehydrate a bit, probably a little bit more than I'd like to, but so far it hasn't shown in my fights. I've managed to have the stamina and have the strength on the night, and yeah. So, but yeah, I would like to be a little bit closer to the right weight on the day of the weigh-in, rather than having to sit in the bath for as long as I might have to. But I've just gotten onto this nutritionist, and yeah, let's hope we can work some magic.
So that's what you do for your for your last 24 hours of weight cutting. You have hot baths or saunas?
Yeah, I do. I'll have to sit in the bath a bit to make weight. Yeah.
Nice. Now, one thing I'm a little bit keen to have a chat about is I've seen that Michael Tomahawk Thompson sometimes is a guest trainer at your gym back at the Fight Centre.
Yeah.
What's it like having him around? Because he's a true Aussie legend, and I used to watch him fight before I even trained Muay Thai or even really understood completely what it was.
Yeah. Man, Mikey's a very genuine dude. Very, he doesn't, sort of guy who doesn't realise how big of a deal he is to, especially heads that have been around a little bit, like yourself. You've been around the scene for a while, and you sort of know the fighters, and you actually take interest in what's going on. But yeah, Mikey's such a genuinely good-hearted guy who's doesn't need to tell everyone about how good he is either, So you just seeing his natural ability and natural skill. He's the sort of guy who might not be in the gym for 3 months and he'll come back in and just pump out five hard rounds on the Thai pads like it's nothing, And I think a lot of that is just his finesse with his technique, where no energy is wasted. Like, he'll throw that punch and it's a hard punch, but he didn't push it. It was just the timing and the snap was great. He just put his back into it, and so he's got that power without having to force it from where it shouldn't come from. He's got it down pat, and that comes from experience, and natural ability as well.
Oh man, just like watching him back in the days, just like you said, like no shots were wasted, everything was timed, and he caught people more than multiple times with that spinning back elbow. He loved that, and his fight with Kevin Ross, that's poor Mikey, but man, that was a sick fight.
Yeah, man. Well, Mike, yeah. Well, Mikey's a beast. If he's there on the night, I think he beats everybody. Like, not that Michael won't make excuses or anything like that, but you never know what goes on behind the scenes. And Mikey didn't have a great preparation leading up to Kevin Ross, and just dealing with obviously, and you can't, he knew it going in, but dealing with the jet lag and not being able to sleep and all these things, and yeah, it just wasn't happening for him leading in. In saying that, like, how tough is Mikey to wear that massive knee, and just not even blink just about,
And mate, did you hear the crack in real time?
Oh man,
if that was me, I would have been sprawled out on the floor.
Yeah.
Done. That's me. See you later.
Well, that's same as Mikey. He's just like Rob Ferguson in that way of
just
he's
took
got
it
something
on the
in
chin,
him.
man, and just kept going. I could not believe that. That just made me respect the guy even more.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's it. It just didn't complain about it, didn't whinge, just got on with it, So, no, he's a great guy to have around, great guy to have at the gym.
So is he just like does he come down and help out with you guys? Like, does he help you for your fight prep sometimes, or is he just sort of just comes down whenever? If I
asked Mikey, could you come down, he'd be there every time. I do take a lot of ownership of my own training, so I tend not to have to rely on any specific person for anything too much. You know what I mean? I've got my coach Dan that if I've got any issues or something I'm not feeling, I'll hit him up and see what he thinks, and he's sort of a bit of a guide. But other than that, I'll see guys like, I'll try and meet up with Jake Lund once a week, lead into a fight camp for clinching and sparring. If we can, we do it twice a week. But when me and Jake spar and clinch, we usually knock each other around a bit. So once a week is enough sometimes, Yeah,
because I actually had a chat with him last year. He was one of the first three people that I got to chat when I first started this, and he did mention that for his fight camps he does train like to spar and clinch with you and J-Dub.
Yeah.
And, shout out to Jake. He's just opened up his own gym, so I hope that's going good for him. And the fight's been announced that him versus Toby next year, so that's the fight that I think a lot of people want to see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he's pretty excited about it. No, we'll definitely be doing some work, man, for both of those, mine and his. So.
And what I want to ask you is, when you train for a fight camp in Australia, who do you use? Well, we know Jake for starters, but apart from that, who else do you use for sparring and your clinching partners? Because I'm sort of guessing like there's like not a lot of people in your area around the same weight or a bit bigger that are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Like, I mean, I do use the guys in the gym to spar. Like, I'm lucky that I just happen to have a lot of bigger guys floating around the gym at the moment. And even though they might not be able to, tip-tap sort of outpoint me, they will try and hit me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they will go for it in terms of if I'm throwing at them, they'll get a little bit of aggression and come back at me, They might not be able to keep it up for many rounds. There's a few of them so that we could just rotate, you know what I mean? So the big boys are always there to throw down with. But when it's with Jake, like I'll use Jake for that other side of and I'll use it for the tit for tat, trying to outpoint, because every day of the week Jake will outpoint me. You know,
he's a good technical fighter.
Yeah, and I have no shame in saying that. Being outpointed by Jake Lund, fucking who cares, Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm a bit bigger and stronger, so I'll have to make up for that. If I want to make it a competitive spar, then I'll have to sort of put a bit of power into my stuff, and that's what Jake will get out of sparring with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll have to try and match it with him. I'll have to take the power down so that I can, match it with him technically, and he'll have to bring the power up to match it with me on that scale of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get your thoughts on him versus Toby.
Oh, I'm backing Jake every day of the week. I think. See, this is the thing. The funny thing about Thailand is they don't do well. Most camps don't do lots of hard sparring. So Jake spent his whole prep over in Thailand, and I'm not saying you have to spar hard all the time, but it's good to be exposed to it every now and then, on a bit of regular thing, but just every now and then. Because like I was saying, you know, you need to know, you almost need to go to the deep water to know that you can survive there. Now, I'm not saying Jake ever questions his heart, not at all, but when he fought Charlie, the last one, he spent the whole time in Thailand, probably got minimal, really hard sparring in. You know, it was probably a lot of that sort of pop. Because you know, over here they're just saving themselves and they'll fight 4 times a fucking month. There's no need to fight in the gym when you fighting every weekend. So him being, my opinion, what the fuck do I know? But in my opinion, there was not enough fighting replication and too much point stuff replication in his camp. Not to take anything away from Charlie. Charlie's a fucking bad motherfucker, you know, and Charlie took it to him. But I think just the fact that there wasn't that really hard sparring leading into it, it was probably a little bit much to deal with it on the night when he hadn't had to deal with it for 2 months beforehand. You know what I mean? Again, you can't take anything away from Charlie. Charlie did his thing, and he's an absolute beast. But yeah, I think sort of coming into Toby, Jake could probably assess that and do something about it a bit more, knowing that Toby's probably going to have more of a similar style to Charlie. You know, but yeah, it's going to be a good fight. But I gotta back my boy Jake. You know, I gotta back him every day of the week. I think he's the man. I think he can beat anyone.
Mate, it's going to come. I think the fans are the winners, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh man, it's going to be good. Going to be a good fight.
I might have to fly over for that one if I got time off work.
Yeah, I'm sure the promoter will be happy about that one. So.
And who are people that you enjoy watching fight, and what is about them or their style that draws you to them?
Oh man, I always loved watching Mikey. You know, Tomahawk, just because of his, you know, his killer mindset the whole time. He's just looking to hurt you. You know, he might throw a few sharp things that might not be destined to knock you out, but everything is meant to hurt. You know, everything is meant to hurt. There isn't any of that sort of just gauging with a jab. It is a boom, stick that jab, whack, pop, 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 sharp combinations, you know. So I always love watching Mikey. And I always love watching Nathan Corbett as well for the same reason, you know, exactly the same reason. He's not just going to tip tap whatever. He's going to come and he's going to fucking split you with that elbow, or he's going to rip that body rip and put it up into your spine, you know. So those two were probably my favourite ones to watch over the years.
Great two choices, mate. Great two choices.
Yeah. If you're talking boxing though, like at the moment, yeah, and Gokhan Saki as well. Same thing. Gokhan Saki, he'll always put into his shots. But if you're talking boxers, I actually, apart from Mike Tyson's the man. But you know, the guys like the real technical ones are the ones I like watching. You know, like the Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko and that sort of thing. I love watching those guys. But I also love Triple G as well. Man. He looks to hurt you with every punch too. So.
Well, yeah, because like Lomachenko, he's had like over, and it shows, man. He's had like over 300 amateur fights, and he was saying that his dad put him into Russian dancing or ballet or something, which has actually helped with his footwork.
Yeah, man, I think he'd just be good at whatever the fuck he did. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's looking for that little secret magic pill that's going to give him the skill or whatever. I think sometimes you're just an athlete, you know. For anyone who ever followed like rugby league might know the name Carmichael Hunt. Yeah. Mate, he had apparently he had the choice of going to play in the NBL or the NRL or the rugby union when he finished high school, because he went and played for Brisbane Broncos at 17 years old. Yeah. He had the choice of being a basketball player or a rugby league player or a rugby union player, and then in the end he goes and fucking plays AFL. You know what I mean? So it's like, shit, some people are just born lucky in terms of athletic ability, you know?
It doesn't matter like what sport, they can never play it. They'll pick up a cricket bat and smash it, or, you know,
that's right.
Soccer ball and start juggling it, and then you get other people who just they're not coordinated, they just can't do it.
And they just got to work, man. Just got to fucking work, you know. And that doesn't mean give up. It just means you play the fucking hand you dealt, you know. If you want to be half as good as him, then you got to work 3 times as hard. Well, you better work 3 times as hard, you know. You can't whinge about it and just give up. You just fucking deal with it.
That's like saying like if you get someone in the gym, because I had a chat with Don Miller probably about a month or 2 ago, and I asked him, I said, like, what do you think outweighs? Do you think what did I say? Does talent beat hard work, or does hard work beat talent? And he hit the nail on the head, where it's like talent will get you so far, but if you don't going to put in the hard work, the guy that's not naturally gifted, if he keeps working and working and working, there's going to come to a stage where he's going to end up overtaking the naturally talented person.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, but that's the thing. Like guys like Lomachenko obviously work hard, but they're talented. So, yeah, what do you do about that? You're fucked. Yeah.
Do you watch Netflix?
Yeah, man.
Have you seen the doco Counterpunch?
Yeah, I love that documentary, man.
Good. I watched that like probably 2 days ago, and it was a really good insight, and it's sort of a good good to see like how people think and like how the industry is going, because you had like the amateur guy that's looking to break into the Olympics, doesn't want to go pro, but he's had like 340 fights.
Yeah, that Cam F awesome or whatever. Yeah, bro. Oh man, what a fucking character.
And then he had an awkward boxing style, but and then you had that other small guy who just turned pro, but he's getting a little bit showy, trying to act like Floyd Mayweather. He was the fella that little B-Hop or whatever. Little B-Hop.
Yeah, named after Bernard Hopkins. Yeah,
that's right. And then there was the other guy. Oh, that was Quentin Hot Chocolate or something like that. I forget his name.
Fuck, I don't remember, man. I don't remember. But yeah. It is a good doco just to see, like, without Cam F awesome, you have to take your hat off to him, you know, just like, obviously not interested in the money, you know what I mean? Just uncompromising towards his goal. He's like 36 or something. He's just missed out on making Olympic trials, but he's still not planning on going pro because he wants to go to the Olympics, you know? It's like, all right, man, that's almost like, it's almost stupid in a way, but at the end of the day, it's what he wants to do, and you can't fucking tell him otherwise, and you have to respect that, you know.
And you can see how, like, that documentary is actually quite a good precedent as to, like, how much hard work does pay off because you see a lot of those guys, and you end up seeing a couple of them, not Cam, but the other two, like, they were really, really good, and then one guy took a year off and did nothing, and then he come back and he lost his fight, and then that little B-Hop went to go and be a sparring partner for a Mexican dude, and he treated it as a holiday, and
that's right.
Got absolutely lit up, and the trainer's like, all right, yeah, that's enough for you, man, 1 round and done.
But how good was that when the trainer's like, hey, look, this guy, he's, you know, fighting for a massive paycheck, gym twice a week, you know? Like that was the sparring partner that he went down and got a hiding from. Whereas the young fellas down there, like, oh, well, let's go play some dodgy cars, let's get some fucking, you know, In-N-Out burger, whatever. And there's old mate sleeping in the fucking gym in the corner and mopping the gym, even though he's world champion, you know.
And I'll never forget, one of the guys said, because when you said he's like, go play jogging hard and go get some burger and stuff, and you could see like he was just eating shit, and he's like, you see what you put into your body this week comes out of your body like the week after, sort of thing.
For sure, man. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I want to ask you, if you hadn't have found combat sports or been so good at it, and you did become a professional fighter and own your own gym, what do you think you'd be doing with your life right now?
Oh man, I have no idea. Yeah, it's almost scary to think about, like, what I'd be doing, you know, just because I am so happy with where everything is right now, and you know, like, I'm an electrician by trade, so I guess I'd be doing that, and to be honest, I'd probably be financially a lot better off if I was just a Sparky doing the 40 hours or maybe a bit of overtime. I'd probably be far better off than what I am now, because I'm not exactly rich, you know. Yeah. But would I prefer that? Like, no way, you know. I'm happy. I got a gym. I got, you know, young kids that are interested in what I have to say, and you know, I got fighters that are also want to learn from me. And, you know, I guess it makes me feel important in a way that I can influence their lives or steer them in a certain direction or keep them out of trouble or whatever. And I really like that. I think that adds a lot more value to my life than having money and buying nice things.
And you probably get a lot more, not that you call it a job, but like job satisfaction, because I
Yeah.
imagine you wouldn't get that much satisfaction out of like fixing and installing a light bulb or a fan from being a Sparky.
No, mate. No. I think the people that get satisfaction out of that, and there's nothing wrong with this, but that becomes their thing, and that becomes, because if you've got no goals, life's pretty fucking boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if your goal is to make money, and that's how you do it, that's then all good. You go and install as many of those fucking light bulbs as you can. Or if you get pride, or you have pride in your work and you get satisfaction out of doing a good job at whatever it is that you do, then that's how you measure that, by doing a good job on the job site. And like I have integrity, and I try and do a good job at whatever I do, but I don't feel like I'm kicking goals by doing it. It's like being an employer, you see, and you try your employee. I definitely don't feel like I'm fulfilling any sort of
Sorry, guys, we just got cut off there. Ben was just talking about job satisfaction and integrity.
Basically, I'll try and have integrity with whatever it is that I do. If I was sweeping floors, I'd probably try and do a good job of sweeping floors. But obviously I'm not going to get a whole massive amount of enjoyment out of it. And I guess that comes from, it's just we opened up the gym and we have employed people. And, being an employer, you see the other side of it as to how much it can really get to you when someone isn't doing their job properly. So I sort of make a point of not doing that. That doesn't mean that I get really excited about my job, though, if I'm going to work as an electrician. Whereas I love being in the gym. I love working with the guys. So.
Yeah, nice. And a while ago, you took a bit of time off to go travelling. You took a bit of time off training and fighting. One thing I saw that you went to Brazil and you trained at Vanderlei Silva's gym. What was that like? And did you actually ever get to meet the guy?
Yeah, I did meet Vanderlei a few times. He actually had his place is in Las Vegas. Vanderlei wouldn't have a fucking clue who I was. I could see him tomorrow. He wouldn't have a clue who I am. But very nice guy. Any time I met him there, he was very welcoming. Made a big deal out of everyone that came into the gym. Hey, so good to see you. Made everyone feel really welcome. Which is funny because it's not what you'd expect from, the axe murderer of Vanderlei Silva, But no, mate, I remember, I didn't realise how big he was. Walking to the gym and there's some guy on the treadmill, and, no shirt, just running, and just a back like a fucking armadillo, like just huge. God, Jesus, the new heavyweight. Look at him. He jumps off and it's Vanderlei. He turns around like, holy shit. Like, I didn't realise he was so big. The guy fights at, by the end, middleweight, he was back down at 86 kilo, or 85 kilo or something. Crazy, man. He's a big man. Did
you watch him spar or anything like that? Because I've seen a few.
No, he didn't. He didn't really do much of that. I sparred a lot of guys there. Even that Khalil Roundtree, who just beat Gokhan Saki.
On the UFC.
Yeah. I used to spar with him a fair bit actually, and do some a lot of ground stuff with him. He's a good bloke.
Yeah, tell us a bit about your BJJ, because you're a blue belt, I believe.
Yeah, I'm a blue belt. I've been a blue belt for a long time, but it's very hard to get enough consistency. I have a Muay Thai fight coming up, and that takes priority. So I do really love my jiu-jitsu. I really enjoy it, but just find also prioritising in terms of I always seem to get injured doing jiu-jitsu. You know, you roll with a white belt and they just pull something harder than they need to, you know.
Yeah.
So like one time I had so he didn't have my arm bar. He didn't have my arm in any position to submit. But big, strong guy and a white belt and just pulled as hard as he could. Now, I was at no risk of hurting my elbow, which is what usually would, you do in an arm bar. But because he pulled so hard, he fucking tore something in my shoulder, like pulled it out of the socket, you know. So just things like that. If there's no BJJ going on, just because I don't need to risk it, you know. So then, of course, after a fight, I'm so banged up for a few months that I don't, you know, I'm unable to train after the fights as well. So it's pretty stop-startish.
Do you find that's the same like when you're sparring Muay Thai with beginners too? They don't sometimes know how to control their shots.
Yeah, but I don't spar too many beginners anymore, man. You know, I try and avoid that. It is a recipe for disaster sometimes especially when they go, holy shit, I'm sparring the trainer or something.
Yeah.
I'm sparring Ben the fucking Blade Johnston, or you know, they might shit the bed a little bit and just tense up and start swinging.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I'm the arsehole no matter what if I swing back. So I just avoid it, you know.
Oh, nice. Now, mate, what's the best piece of advice as a fighter someone has given you that you could pass on to others?
Dan Bell, my coach, he said once, and I don't know if this is something it sort of rolled off the tongue well for him, or whether it was something he's always said, but it stuck with me forever, and I say it all the time now, is fitness is fearlessness. So, you know, at that moment that you're about to jump over the ropes, you're going to think about everything you didn't do leading up to the camp. You know, you're going to think about all the runs that you skipped out on. You're going to think about how hard you found the training, but in a way of, it could have been a whole lot easier if you trained more. You know, so, you know, you fucking do it in the gym so it's easy on the night. You don't want to be struggling in any way. And it's a pretty good plan B to have. If plan A of game plan, having, you know, I'm going to outpoint, I'm going to outscore, I'm going to outmoving. If that's not working, if you are absolutely fearless with your fitness and you have 100% confidence and 100% faith, you're going to have the legs to do it. And you just go to, all right, let's go. And let's fucking work. That's a pretty good plan B, and that's a pretty hard one to deal with for the other guy. Now that, like I said, that is usually plan B and not plan A, but it's not a bad one, and people can't deal with that sometimes.
Oh, mate, there's nothing worse than feeling like you're trying to tread water in tracksuit and jeans, and you just, everything's all heavy. I've experienced that myself, man. There's nothing worse than trying to just try and keep your hands up and just try and gasp for air.
Yeah,
it's the worst
man,
feeling
absolutely.
in the world.
And especially when it's on someone else's terms. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're hurting, but you're pushing forward, and you make the decision, I'm fucked. Let's go. Let's do the work. Even though you're fucked, it's a lot easier because you said to do it. But mentally, you being the one that is having someone coming and just keep on coming, you guys might have the same amount of, energy left, but being the one making the call to go, let's go, that's a big thing, and that'll definitely make it easier, you know. Sure, and it's a fucking long way, gym. So yeah, in terms of like what's going to be most beneficial in the night, fitness is fearlessness. That'd be the big one.
Nice one, mate. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed our chat, mate, and so I won't keep you for too much longer because I know you got an Arvo session, so you probably want to have a bit of a snooze or get some food into you before you go. But just before I let you go, mate, if people like want to follow you or stay up to date, or they even want some information about the Fight Centre, how can people follow you? You got like Instagram and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah. I guess, I'm on Instagram. I post every now and then. Ben Johnston _ TFC, I think. The Fight Centre is the Fight Centre _Brisbane, or just Google us. You'll find everything you'll need if you just search the Fight Centre. Actually, no, you probably won't. It'll probably come up with, did you mean the Flight Centre? So you might have to, if you want to find us, muaythaibrisbane.com. So, yeah.
Awesome, mate. And last but not least, anyone you wish to thank or give a shout out to?
Man, yeah, I guess I would like to say a thank you to Eddie from E&K Plumbing. He's always been good to us at the Fight Centre from the very beginning. And just all everyone in the gym and that for always helping out and putting in. And some days I'm pretty fucking grumpy, and they wear it well. So yeah, good on them for sticking with me and not complaining about it. So.
Awesome, brother. And I'd just like to give a quick thanks and shout out to Malcolm Maxwell, the promoter for Destiny, which you are fighting on. He hit me up and suggested that you'd be a good interview, and mate, you definitely have, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our chat, and I really appreciate that. So thanks, Malcolm. And
Malcolm's a legend, man. Yeah, he does good things. He looks up. He has integrity. That's another man with integrity, So when it comes to organising things and making the fight happen, him and Chris Johnston doing it together, I think they're doing a good thing. So
awesome, brother. So yeah, thank you, Malcolm, and thank you, Ben, for our chat, mate. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and wish you not that you'll need it, but the best of luck for October 27th at the Mansfield Tavern in Queensland. So if you're in Queensland, get down, mate, because it'll be a good night. Thanks for your time, Ben.
Nah, good on you, man. No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
The great fighters around the world ask questions and investigate the lives of great warriors, revered and notorious, infamous and legendary. That to me is glorious. Come kick it, still talk some shit with me. I'll ask so you can answer and explain to me the history. I had to throw a vicious knee. I got a passion for the art of 8 limbs. I'm just asking from the heart. So as I conclude this interview, thanks so much for sitting through. Loved all the fighters and the folks that listen. This for you.